Hello and welcome back to Townhill Junction. Today we're going to be reviewing this Hornby Class 66 in the EWS livery. These trains are well known in this part of Fife for pulling the large coal trains that headed to Longannet until recent years. Today we're going to unbox and review this locomotive and see how she does on our test track. This is a DC locomotive. So we're going to have a go on our DC test track and see how she does. So when the British Railways was privatised the rail freight sector back in 1996, English, Welsh and Scottish, the EWS, was given 93% of all the work. They were also given 1,600 of the ageing locomotives. And it was quite clear that these locomotives were not going to carry this company on into the new century, so something had to be done about it. The Class 66, along with others, including the Class 59, were part of the answer. They originally ordered 250, which were imported into the UK and were pretty much ready to go. These are 21 metres long and weigh about 126 tonnes. They were designed to travel 1,200 miles on a single tank of fuel and were designed to operate at about 75 miles an hour. With a cab at each end, they were great for going into sidings and turning around and pulling the trains back out without huge amounts of hassle. They've got big engines on board that pull 3,200 brake horsepower, which gives them a huge amount of power as it became the backbone of the UK fleet. They got nicknamed the Shed due to their angular fronts, which you can see in the cabs on either end. And they're now with operation very quickly. Other rail operators started to pick up on it, including Freightliner, Direct Rail Services, GB Rail Freight. And it's also now available, and it's also now used right across Europe in the freight industry. This is one of my favourite locomotives. I remember seeing it as a child, passing the level crossings near the top of the town. Again, pulling these huge coal trains. But they also pull your container services, mixed freight, and are seen right across Scotland. They're a common sight on the Scottish network, and so having at least one of these on my layout makes a lot of sense. So let's have a look at the box now, before we get her open, and we can try and get a little bit of running in today. So we can see, again, Hornby have these lovely pictures showing you the top and the front of what you're supposed to expect, but you can't actually see it. If you go around the side, you can see it's DCC ready. That is the intention for this loco. I might change my mind, but the intention was to put a DCC chip in and convert it, and I'll show you why. On the back we have quite a good amount of history actually, which tells you about the Class 66, from how it moved from the British Railways days and how it came into service. It also talks about this exact model, which is 66005, and how it's part of the EWS fleet. There's even some lovely drawings on the right hand side here, some of the main dimensions. Which is a techie person like me, I do love a wee isometric drawings, so it's good to see that sort of detail on the box. Now we're going to open the box and see what's inside. So we have this slip-on sleeve, which if you just shake it, comes out, giving you this wonderful display. Now again, a very sunny day here in Scotland, rare, so I do hope you can see that. But you can see 66005. Reason I might keep this model, even though I'll have to chip it myself, is it's had some wonderful weathering, thanks to a good friend who had done that previously. So she looks very, very realistic. And if you look at any of the pictures of the coal trains that have been going past this area and through Townhill Junction, you'll see very similar. Let's take her out the packaging. Let's see what we've got. So This is much more modern packaging compared to what we've been used to with Hornby, using the polystyrene. There's much more what we expect. We've got a bag of couplings, additional details, and the snow shovels or cow bars. So let's unclip packaging here. Take it out, we'll get rid of the box. So here we have the model. Absolutely gorgeous. It does make it look really realistic. We can see there's a good amount of detail on this side. The livery, which is one most of us will know, and it's the same type of livery that you would see operating in Scotland. There is a Highland Line version. If we have a quick look, let's pick up the model. Let's pick up the model now. So as you can see, we've got vent detail here for the big motors. A reasonable amount of under bogie details. It doesn't look that realistic, but at least there is some detail there. The big 3 forward wheels there, and you can see the weathering. That's probably given this Hornby model probably a bit more credit than it actually deserves. If we go around to the front, you can see the model. There's no lights in this model, which is a bit disappointing, but it is the age model. It's not a new part of the new era. You can see the running number there, the 66005. If we go onto the top, we've got a bit of vents. We've got the main exhaust detail here, which that is fairly prototypical, and there's a bit of detail, but again, it's not wowing me with detail. Really, the weathering, which has been done by somebody else. If we go on the other side, again, we can see that weathering, the number, the livery that we all kind of recognise, and there's a bit of detail when it comes to kind of warning symbols, a bit of detail above the bogies, but it does look like a Class 66. I'm fairly happy with it. So what I think we need to do now is just get running on the test track. So just before we go onto the test track, what we need to do is we need to put this model on the Ooh La La scales. Girlfriend's cooking scales. It's great for just fitting on a 00 gauge train. So we're looking at 399 grams. So a bit light compared to some of the more modern models, but I think it's just showing its age. But still good 400 grams. I have actually had this one on the test track before, pulling 30 or so coal wagons, or also pulling 15 or 20 intermodal container wagons. It does run well. So what we now need to do is go and show you the running. So here we are on the test track at Townhill Junction. Obviously we do want the layout to be up and running, but whilst we're waiting for shops to reopen to get some more wood, this at least allows us to have some running. So we're going to put a bit of power on and see how she does at slow speeds. You can see fairly smooth. We can see the ploughs attached to the bogies, which I'm not sure I'm a big fan of that. Maybe they are in real life, somebody will have to tell me now. Slow speed. See the plough at the front attached to the bogies, which I'm not sure if I like that. I think what we need to do now, just to see how she looks, is do a bit more running at higher speed. So what I think we need to do now is just a bit more high speed running. You can see because of the weathering it does look really good. I'm really quite impressed with the difference weathering makes. It's not something I've tried myself before, but you can see the difference between a kind of pristine model, which obviously some of the passenger trains will be cleaned quite regularly, and these diesels used to pulling around big coal wagons, other dirty freight. There just isn't the need to wash as often. Let's get some running. So there we have the Hornby EWS 66005 Class 66. So what do I think about this model? I think the weathering's been quite generous to it. I think it has detail, but not a lot. It doesn't have running lights, it doesn't have cab lights. Some of the details are just a bit lacking. But for the age of the model, it's not one of the newest ones. DCC ready, so it'd be an easy one to convert over. And you do also get lighting kits. If you've got a steady hand, you can drill out those lights. And fairly cheaply, for £15–20, you can buy some of the kits to add lights to it yourself. It's a good model. I'd love to keep it. I think there's a high chance though this model will potentially be going up for sale and we'll buy a different model instead. Your comments and constructive criticism is always welcome. Again, still new to this, but really enjoying this newfound part of the hobby whilst I wait and try and get the layout operational towards the end of the year. Thanks for watching. This has been Townhill Junction.